government has revealed plans to, among other measures, regulate hostel accommodation across the country as it continues a review of the Rent Control Act and Rent Control Law. Speaking at the Government Accountability Series at the Jubilee House, Works and Housing Minister Govt said a national rent dialogue was held during the review process to validate and streamline the proposed amendments. He added that the ministry is taking steps to resubmit the bill to Cabinet and subsequently Parliament for consideration and approval.
Review of rent laws. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, recognizing the critical role of rental housing in national development, my ministry continued the review of the Rent Act 1963, Act 220, and the Rent Control Law 1986, PNDC Law 138. These reforms aim to modernize outdated legislation, eliminate regulatory bottlenecks, and incentivize private sector investment into rental housing. Key priorities include maintaining tenant protections, especially for low-income and vulnerable groups, while also regulating hostel accommodations fees across the country. Towards the end of the year 2025, the National Rent Dialogue was organized to validate and streamline the proposed amendments. The ministry taking the necessary steps to resubmit the revised bill to Cabinet and subsequently Parliament for consideration and approval.
Well, the minister also says government will scale up the operations of the National Rental Assistance Scheme across all 16 regions.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the National Rental Assistance Scheme, established by the government in 2023, as a social housing program, aims to facilitate access to rental properties for qualifying beneficiaries by providing rent advance. The scheme is currently being piloted in 6 regions, namely Greater Accra, Bono East, Northern, Eastern, Western, and Ashanti regions. In 2025, the scheme successfully facilitated the payment of rent advance for 2,031 Ghanaians across its 6 operational regions, bringing the cumulative number of beneficiaries since inception to 4,732. I am glad to state that so far, the disbursement recovery rate is about 99%, indicating the government seed money is fully recoverable and in circulation. The program's eligibility criteria, application process, and beneficiary success stories highlight its effectiveness in addressing housing needs and enhancing community well-being, and government is poised to take the necessary steps in the short to medium term to scale up the operations of the scheme across all 16 regions of the country. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my ministry has intensified engagement with the selected developer for the completion of the Sagleme Affordable Housing Project. Following the completion of the developer selection process led by Deloitte Ghana, the head of terms have been duly signed by both parties. The joint venture arrangement concluded among all parties as well as the shareholders' agreement drafted and mutually agreed upon. The document is currently with the Attorney General for review and finalization. Similarly, the State Housing Company Limited continued works on key projects, including the Surge Homes development at Amrahia, the SHC Gardens project. Both projects are currently at 68% and 70% completed, respectively. My ministry has continued its efforts to complete the stalled affordable housing projects across the country. TDC Ghana Limited has continued works on 800 housing units under the PON Affordable Housing Project at Tema Community 26. These units are at various stages of completion and progressing steadily. To position TDC Ghana Limited as a key player in Ghana's housing industry, the President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, performed the sword-cutting ceremony last year for the construction of the Oxygen City housing projects at Ho in the Volta region. This landmark initiative seeks to address Ghana's housing deficit through the development of 1,000 affordable housing units. This project is the first by TDC Ghana Limited outside the Tema acquisition area. The Oxygen City housing project, which will be housed on approximately 1,000 acres of land, is envisioned as a well-planned, serviced, and economically integrated community, featuring essential amenities such as a school, hospital, shopping mall, gym, and a recreational center.